Alright, introducing the Solidworks screen. When you first launch Solidworks, if you see the welcome or the little home screen, and you prefer to use it, then it's going to come up each time. I've already turned this off, so there's a little checkbox in the bottom corner that says "Don't show again," and that doesn't turn it off permanently. Of course, I can get back to it by clicking on the little home there and get back in. I say the limitations that these three are, the part assembly and drawing, are the default, and those templates going to need some modification, and actually all of them will need some modification at some point. But if we go with home, recent, all right, so whatever the last one's, learning samples, tutorials from SolidWorks, and then we have a 2021 beta, so it's getting to be that time of year again. When I click anywhere else, it will disappear. Going through the SolidWorks window, if you see these little arrows, those will be flyouts, and if we hit the push pin, that'll put it in place. So the pull downs would like to be able to see those. If you don't have enough room going across your screen, lower resolution monitor or laptop, then you can click the push pin and it'll buy you a little more space. And then the standard toolbar, new, open, saves, prints, are all important, undo, redo, the selection tool, the rebuild tool, and as we go through these, we're going to introduce some of the hotkeys. So the keyboard would be Control B or Control Q. And then the file properties, the options, add-ins, additional items. The help and the search utilities. Minimize, spanning displays. Usually most of the displays have enough of an edge that it's spanning the displays can be a little bit annoying, but it does make for a bigger screen. And then minimize, maximize, and then close the program. The task pane, when you start, if this is expanded out, again, we're just clicking in the work area and it will collapse. If you want to see it, then you can hit the push pin, and if you do have dual displays, right now I believe these are locked, but let's see, nope, I guess not. If I grab onto it and drag, it will drag and I can put it onto my second screen if I really want to. So that's going to be things like the tools, some resources, our design library, toolbox, things that we'll get into later. So coming around the screen, on the status bar, we'll see things like the inch, pounds, and seconds, the current state. Right now we're not editing a part or editing a sketch. And then the version of the software, and our work area telling us it's ready to do something. So you can pick your favorite to open up a new document. So File, New, or Control N, or just come over to New. I have two folders. You'll probably see a tutorial in the SolidWorks templates. We'll start off with the part assembly and drawing. If you have the novice and you click on novice, you'll go back to that novice new SolidWorks document. Again, these are the default templates, so they're kind of what you get. I prefer to be in advanced, so this is the advanced new. And if I go over to my templates, these are templates I've created for various applications for fractional inch and decimal inch, standard inch, part, metric, different assemblies that I utilize. And even if it's only occasionally, it's nice to have one that I can jump into quick. So we double click on the part, it will open, or we can come down and hit OK. And that's going to launch us into the document. Now the screen changes a little bit to where we have a white, or you'll probably see grayscale on your work area. And so we now have the part that's open, the command manager across the top, and the various tabs with the tools that we would most commonly use. So features, sketch, I have direct editing. These will kind of change as we go through the tools, through the functions. heads-up display, and mine may not look exactly like yours. I've added and taken away for various lectures, but should see the common ones. Main thing we're going to look at is the hide show items. Make sure you do the pull down, the little arrow next to, otherwise the eyeball hides everything and shows everything. So when we do the pull down, we're going to come over, and I would like to see the origin, and when I click on the origin, I can see where the intersections of my planes are. So we'll come back to that. So on the inside of the work area then, tiling, minimize, maximize, close the document, still have the task pane. Again, that status bar at the bottom, custom, maybe I want to be in inch, pounds, and seconds instead of millimeters, grams, and seconds. If I think about it at this point, then I would go ahead and change it. And then I'm editing a part. That will change to editing a sketch when I tell it where I want to sketch. And then I have the screen capture. Some other things will pop up. Let's see if I hit, there it is. If I hit F5, that'll turn on the filters. There are several filters that have hotkeys, so if I hit E on the keyboard, it will put me into an edge filter, which limits what you can select. So you do want to be careful, and if all of a sudden nothing seems to be working, hitting F5 and turning on the filters, making sure that nothing's selected or that we can clear out the selection filters. So right now this isn't in the best position. We'll look at modifying our screen here in a second and continue on with the feature manager. So the origin is the intersection of our three planes, front, top, and right. If I hold down, I select the first one, I hold down the shift button, just like most of Windows functions, I can select all three, and that will kind of show me the intersection at the origin. I'm holding down the middle mouse button and rotating, and that is rotating my view and the orientation of the part. All right, so when I click out, they're going to disappear, but as I hover over, they'll highlight in orange. So we get a lot of colors and a lot of visual clues as to what's going on our screen. Bottom left, we have the reference triad. So if I pick on X, that will take me to the right view. Z, top, front, and then let's do the view orientation. So with the view cube, then I can pick one of these faces and it'll take me to whatever. So again, I'm just hitting the space bar that time, or we come up to the heads-up display and do the pull down for view orientation. We're also going to get the box, and there's another hotkey that just brings the box, and we'll look for that here in a minute. And on this orientation, I can create custom views. If I get a part into a view that looks particularly good or I want to work from, I can say new view and it'll add it to the box. So we have our standard front, right, back, bottom, top, and notice that it's showing us the control keys. So control 1 through 8. Control 1 through 7 is that front, back, left, right, top, bottom, and isometric. It's being able to split the screen. We have single view, 2 view horizontal, 2 view vertical, and then the 4 views. Occasionally that's handy, but not so much. And then if you don't want to see the view selector, the control spacebar toggles it on and off. Updating standard views, reset standard views. We can manipulate those a little bit, but I would recommend holding off on that. Let's see, as far as being in the views, the other thing would be on our view settings. If your video card supports real view graphics, you're going to be able to see the shiny pictures. Shadows kind of annoy me, so I turn those off. Ambient occlusion, I could go either way. Perspective, the quickest way to tell that you're in perspective is if you're looking, let's click on the front. If I'm looking, let's just do control 1 then. If I do control 1 and I draw, I have a solid and I see the circle, I'll see another circle inside because I'm looking at the perspective as it goes away from me. That can be a little annoying, especially if I'm thinking that it's tapered when it's actually just the view. And cartoon gives it kind of a fuzzy, surreal look. It's kind of fun, but it's not really that necessary. All right, so mouse buttons, left click, select, right click in context is going to pull up a list of commands. Holding down the middle mouse wheel will rotate. Doing the scroll wheel up and down is a zoom at the arrow. So a lot of times you'll see me, it'll be kind of a jerky motion, and I do it out of habit. I don't even think about it, to where I'm using that zoom in, zoom out to kind of pan across the screen. Holding down the control button is our pan, and holding down the alt button rotates about the view. So we're going to customize a little bit. There may be, I'm going to go back to control 1 so I'm in the front view. I can right click up here and get this list, and I'm going to customize this menu. One of the things that we want to do, this is everything that's available as add-ins and all of the possible tabs that we would have, and then the toolbars. One of the things we'll want to do is lock the command manager. So where I grab the task pane and drag it out and then put it back, we can do the same thing with the command manager. It will kind of get lost. But if we lock it in place, it's less likely to do that. So let's take a look. If I unlock and we hit OK, and I happen to grab by the tabs to undock it. Okay. So I drag it out, and I didn't really want to do that. We're going to left click, hold down, and then go back to one of the 3 anchor points. I like to have it at the top, so I drag it back, and now it's in position. I said I wanted to modify, so maybe I'll drag the camera over. We'll put the filter there, and then put the cam, and then any of the other toolbars that I might want to turn on. I can't think of anything I need right away, but if you prefer to use the toolbars over the command manager, you can turn these on and dock them someplace. So we'll go back into customize and then lock the command manager. If there's something that I'm using, so we'll talk a little bit about the S key and come back to this one. If I use a tool, I mentioned pan, which should be under view. If I decide that my mouse isn't working very well, or it's key combination is a little too difficult, I can come over here to the pan, and sometimes I just have to click on each of these categories to find the one I'm looking for, and then drop it in place. Let's see, what else do we have? Display styles, zoom. Let's do a zoom to area. Let's go through the rest of these real quick, and I'll show you another way to add items to the heads up. So these are all of the pull downs if we want to modify those. Keyboard shortcuts, and this will give you a list of all of those items. Mouse gestures is a process where you hold down the right mouse button, you drag it a little bit to the left, and then it will pop up with whatever is in these depending on what function you're performing. And customization, show all for the shortcuts, and then show all or reset to defaults. Okay, so I said we're going to right click and drag to the left. That gives me my views. And then, again, we can always come down to the reference triad, and that's showing me I'm on the bottom view. Let's just go back to control 1 because I got lost. So the other thing that we could do is on our search, if I'm looking for commands, I want to zoom to area, and when this pulls down, I can left click and drag, right click and drag. One of those was supposed to place it. Looks like it's going to place it on the command manager. I was thinking that would be able to go to the heads up. So we can drag it to the command manager, and then if I want to make those go away, we're going to come back to our commands. I shouldn't have to navigate. We just get back to the location, and I can drag it back into the box and it will make it disappear. If I really wanted that one to be on the heads-up display, then we would drag it. But you have a couple of options to manage those items. Alright, so we'll finish up with customizing your display. And if I go into the scenes, we're going to look for basic scenes. And if I drag down through here and I decide I like the warm kitchen, I can right click on it and set as the default scene. So what that does, when I come up to my apply scenes, we're going to have, and it's not added, so it would see default, but I would be able to go from plain white, and if we go into manage favorites, that was warm kitchen, so hopefully it's alphabetical. Nope. Lost it. Kitchen background. There it is. If I add warm kitchen, hit OK. Hit the display. Now warm kitchen shows up as the default, and I can toggle through those. So find something that's comfortable and get your screen set up. Get familiar with the controls, and we are now ready to start creating models.